Nanotyrannus is a genus of theropod dinosaur that lived in what is now western North America during the Late Cretaceous. It lived during the Maastrichtian age, around 67 to 66 million years ago. Its fossils are known from the Hell Creek Formation, which is well known for its iconic inhabitants, such as the infamous T.rex, triceratops, ankylosaurus, and the giant hadrosaur Edmontosaurus. The first named species, Nanotyrannus lancensis, was described as a new species of Gorgosaurus in 1946 by Charles Gilmore based on a single skull. The specimen was re-examined in 1988, and it was later realized that this wasn't a Gorgosaurus or any tyrannosaur known before, but a new genus. It was later named Nanotyrannus, which means tiny tyrant, in reference to its relatively small size. However, others suggested that the skull actually belonged to a young T.rex rather than a new species. This led many paleontologists to favor its identification as a juvenile Tyrannosaurus rex. However, as of recently, a new study has now ended the debated taxonomy of this animal, hopefully. In 2025, Lindsay, Zanno, and James Napoli published a revision of Nanotyrannus. They described a complete tyrannosaur skeleton from the Hell Creek Formation, nicknamed Bloody Mary, which was part of the dueling dinosaur specimen. They suggested that Bloody Mary was a fully mature Nanotyrannus, specifically the species N. lancensis. A second species is also recognized, known as Nanotyrannus lethaeus. This species is based on the Jane specimen. Nanotyrannus was a mid-sized tyrannosaur. It was much smaller than T.rex and other large tyrannosaurids. Despite the meaning of its name, tiny tyrant, it was definitely not small and would have dwarfed any modern terrestrial carnivore. The species, N. lancensis, may have weighed up to 704 kilograms, or 1,552 pounds, based on the Bloody Mary specimen. This makes it similar to large polar bears in terms of weight. The second species, N. lethaeus, may have been even larger. Mature individuals may have reached a body mass of about 1,200 kilograms, or 2,600 pounds. In terms of size, it would have reached between 5 and 6 meters long, or 15 and 20 feet, from head to tail. Unlike Tyrannosaurus, Nanotyrannus had a slender, low skull, and small crests or horns in front of its eyes. The muscle attachment sites at the back of its skull were large, suggesting that it could strongly flex its head from side to side. The teeth at the front of its upper jaw were not serrated, unlike many other tyrannosaurs. The rest of its teeth were serrated and compressed from side to side, a condition known as xividonty, which is not seen in tyrannosaurids. Nanotyrannus had relatively long, slender legs, compared to some of its bulkier relatives. This meant that it may have been a pursuit predator, chasing down prey in the open. The arms were also longer than its relatives, and may have also been used for hunting. Nanotyrannus has been placed in its own family of tyrants, known as Nanotyrannidae. It was probably closely related to genera such as Appalachiosaurus and Dryptosaurus, with these two possibly belonging to the same clade as Nanotyrannus. It is also suggested that Nanotyrannus descended from a lineage of Appalachian tyrannosaurs, which migrated to the other North American island continent, Laramidia, with the recession of the western interior seaway. Nanotyrannus was probably a hunter of small to medium-sized dinosaurs, which would have included the ostrich-like ornithomimids, such as Ornithomimus and Struthiomimus. It would have also preyed on the Pachycephalosaurus, which would have been dangerous for juveniles to tackle. The Neornithischian Phascalosaurus may have also been easy prey for Nanotyrannus. I definitely butchered that name. Ceratopsians, such as Leptoceratops and young Taurosaurus, were also on the menu. Young Edmontosaurus were likely also prey for Nanotyrannus. Juveniles would have preyed on smaller creatures such as amphibians, lizards, small mammals, and birds. They probably would have avoided larger animals, such as Triceratops, Edmontosaurus, and ankylosaurus, likely leaving them to its bigger cousin, the T.rex. There is a possibility that Nanotyrannus may have been social and was a pack hunter, filling out a niche similar to wolves and hyenas, while T.rex was the lion or grizzly bear of its day. This is based on finds of other tyrannosaurs that have been found in large numbers, consisting of juveniles and adults, specifically genera such as Albertosaurus and Gorgosaurus. This is just a possibility though, and we don't have any evidence that Nanotyrannus itself was social. However, if this was the case, it would have helped them take on larger prey, such as full-grown Edmontosaurus and Triceratops. Living in a group would have also helped them compete with its larger relative, the T.rex. Just like many other tyrannosaurs, Nanotyrannus may have engaged in intraspecific combat. These would have often included brutal face biting, which is very common in large theropod dinosaurs. These behaviors are also seen in large reptiles today, such as crocodiles and alligators. Evidence of this is found on the Jane specimen, who has puncture wounds on the upper jaw. The puncture wounds show signs of healing, suggesting that Jane survived these rough encounters. Nanotyrannus would have shared its habitat with other theropod dinosaurs. The most famous of these, of course, was the much larger Tyrannosaurus rex. They would have done their best to stay out of the way of the adults, since they were way more powerful and were built to take down larger prey. Juveniles and subadults, on the other hand, would have been major competition for Nanotyrannus, as they were closer in size and would have hunted the same prey. Nanotyrannus in general would have been much faster than T.rex, especially fully grown individuals, thanks to its lighter build and longer legs. It is estimated that it may have reached speeds of between 25 and 30 miles per hour, or 45 to 49 kilometers an hour. This makes it more than twice as fast as a T.rex, which is estimated to reach a maximum speed of 18 miles per hour, or 29 kilometers an hour. Other theropods that it coexisted with also included oviraptorosaurs, such as Anzu and Aeoneophon. Definitely butchered those. The dromaeosaur, Archaeoraptor, which measured around 2 meters or 6 feet long, were likely too small to pose any serious competition to adult Nanotyrannus. However, they may have been a threat to hatchlings and juveniles and would have preyed on them once in a while. Dakotaraptor, a much larger dromaeosaur, doesn't count as it probably never existed. The troodontid Pectinodon was similar in size to Archaeoraptor and would have played a similar role. Avialans, or primitive birds, were also common at the time. Pterosaurs were also present. These would have included astarchids, such as Infernodracon, and possibly the giant Quetzalcoatlus. Nanotyrannus is only known from the Hell Creek Formation, which spans parts of modern-day Montana, South Dakota, North Dakota, and Wyoming. The environment would have been warm, humid, and swampy, reflecting subtropical conditions. The habitat would have heavily resembled the Everglades of Florida. The landscape featured lush, low-lying vegetation dominated by ferns, while the forest canopy consisted of a mixture of diverse conifers and angiosperms. The wetlands and waterways contained a diverse faunal assemblage. Small insects are known from what would have been the swampy forests, while the rivers and lagoons hosted invertebrates, fish, amphibians, and various reptiles. Nanotyrannus became extinct alongside all the other remaining non-avian dinosaurs during the KPG extinction event at the end of the Late Cretaceous around 66 million years ago. The story of Nanotyrannus is a really interesting and confusing one. For a long time, it was just thought to be a juvenile T.rex, and now it's believed to be a separate genus and a new family of tyrannosaurs. It's also cool that we now have another large predator that lived alongside T.rex, since for a long time, it was thought that T.rex was the sole apex predator of Hell Creek. There were also 2 species of Nanotyrannus, so that would mean that Hell Creek was home to 3 species of tyrannosaur, and that predators were more diverse in this formation than previously thought. The only thing missing now is a large dromaeosaur like Dakotaraptor. Too bad that it's still considered a chimera. Hopefully one day we get this guy back. Then Hell Creek would be complete. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and comment, and subscribe if you feel like it. Stay blessed and enjoy the rest of your day.